involved. He's in your team. And then Jason Smith at the end there. Josh, standouts for you straight away. Is this the strongest team? If not, who and what needs to be discussed?
I don't believe it's the strongest squad
Have to agree with you.
available. So before we get into the nitty-gritties of the squad, just to take a step back. So since the previous T20 World Cup in 2024, I've got some mad stats for you guys, because it seems like the selectors have kind of seen the 2-year periods in between World Cups as like, let's bring in the new guys, let's test it out. And it's always for the World Cup, for the next World Cup. It's like always you're building towards the next World Cup. South Africa's played 10 series since the previous T20 World Cup. Can you guys take a guess how many of those we've won?
The series.
Series.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 3, 4.
3,
Yeah,
4,
I would say 4.
1.
We've won 1.
We've won 1. It includes a drawn series against Ireland. It includes a lost series of 1 game against Namibia. I asked you if I could swear on the podcast, and the reason was to build up for this point, because
That's
it has
some
been
shit
an
show.
absolute fuck show. Yeah. We've lost, by my calculation, 16 games. 19 games and won 6. Since we've won 6 T20 internationals since the previous World Cup, during which time we have tested out 35 players in white ball cricket.
Yeah.
So now, and it's a segue into the squad selection, because then, the selectors justify 35 guys as, we're experimenting, we're bringing in new talent, all for this World Cup. And then you look at the squad and you think, well, if we've experimented so much,
It's a stock standard.
yeah, but like are those the best that we've got? Yeah. When you've got, okay, so Tony, great player, love him. For me, not a T20 player, at least yet.
Sorry, just on that, is Tony being picked as a number 3 or an opener?
I'm not sure.
Basically, just general top order.
Yeah, it's 1 or 3.
So I would then another question, which I'm going to throw in here, based on what prowess? I mean, has an IPL team picked him up?
No.
Okay, that to me is a red flag.
It is a red flag.
We know he's a handy cricketer. I love him as a test match player.
Correct.
I love him as a one-day player. I don't think I have the dynamics in my mind around him. I could be wrong for T20.
So there's a principle me and my friends talk about. We call it formatism. And a lot of people suffer from formatism. So when someone does really well in, let's say, Test cricket, the public jumps and says, okay, he must play in ODI cricket or T20 cricket because of his form in Test cricket. We're seeing it now also with Harmer a lot, where because he did so well in the Test in India, now all of a sudden he must play every format. Yeah. And he should be given a chance, but besides the point. But there's a thing called formatism. I suspect that the selectors have suffered from formatism because Tony, again, love him as a Test player and an ODI player. His T20 stats are not great in general T20 cricket. Average of 19 at a strike rate of 119. Just by the way, we have another guy in the squad who has, his average is 20 at a strike rate of 119. Okay, there's another guy in the squad whose average is 19, so 1 less than Tony, but his strike rate is 135. And his name is George Lindy. So you're spinning all around as better batting stats than your number 1 or 3. Yeah. Now, again, he's played 2 T20 internationals for South Africa ever. The last time he played was end of October against Pakistan when he actually made his debut in T20 cricket for South Africa. It's now going into February. He hasn't played a single game since because of injury.
But again, like I was asking, didn't have the T20 prowess stats at the SA20, he's kind of been thereabouts for the Sunrise, but he hasn't been like their best player. Exactly. He hasn't changed games. Like he hasn't really set the tournament alight. And this is the purpose of this tournament, is like we are making Proteas greats here. So he doesn't tick that box to me either.
Yeah, I think for me and just to allude what you're saying, is that I don't see the philosophy of what the selectors are actually going for now. Are we backing youth? Are we backing to people who are great at all formats? Because they kind of feel like there's a problem here, and you see it with the Betway SA20, where you have basically Ryan Rickleton, who we'll talk about, snubbed. We have Tristan Snubbs.
Tristan Snubs.
Tristan Snubbs.
Tristan's been snubbed.
And he has got IPL, and he's got, he's been okay-ish. But you give him a chance at a young age, because he's also now a captain of a franchise.
25. He didn't have a great 2025.
Yeah.
I'll concede that.
Sure.
Yeah, and then Reza Hendricks, I think should be in there. And looking at what Botman has done in the Bedway SA20.
Whoa! You're throwing a lot around here. Why is Reza Hendricks in there?
No, I just think he's been. I think in terms of the bowling, he's been good. I don't understand why Nokia is there. To be honest, he's been super injured for a long time. Does he deserve to be called up at this level with the injuries? Wait. Do we understand? You alluded to it earlier. He's been injured for a very long time. And do you take an injury-prone player who hasn't been great at this format in terms of Betway SA20? Do you call him up for a World Cup?
No,
it kind of feels the merit hasn't been won there. That is my.
But the point that it's the converse of what I was saying about Tony is that he's proven himself as a game winner in T20 cricket, IPL, SA20, and now he's come back and he's in good form. And he's had a proper run of games. And the thing is, selectors, I would imagine, have monitored this. It's no surprise now that he's played 4, 5, 6 competitive games now, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I think he's an easier call for me.
So I'll tell you a mad stat about Nokia, why they can justify it.
Yeah.
He's played in, I believe, 2 T20 World Cups.
That's two.
He's got, and there's a strong argument that he is in the all-time T20 World Cup team. He's South Africa's leading wicket taker in T20 World Cups, 35 wickets, at a strike rate of, an average of something like 11, and economy of under 6. He's been South Africa's best player, and there's a strong argument that he's the first name on the team sheet. He's the GOAT in terms of T20 World Cups.
So rock up here in an orange shirt and you're knocking him.
In terms of, but the recent form, you think it's justifiable?
Like you say, he came back from injury, so we didn't see him for a long time. I think you got to back someone like that, and he's done well. I mean, wasn't he on your MVP list?
He was. I mean, number 8. Shares. I mean, Rodri spent a year out of Man City. Did Man City then go, "Oh, I'm not sure we can pick you again"?
Look at Man City where they are now. They're fighting back, and that Rodri conversation. But for me, like I said, for me, it's where you run your philosophy. If you're losing the majority of your T20s, do you now change your philosophy and back youth, or do you kind of back what you think is good? And that's where I feel like the selectors haven't made a strong enough stance. Ryan Rickleton should be there.
Agreed.
Tristan Stubbs should be there. Yeah. One, even if they get knocked out, at least you've backed youth and you've given them a big enough platform.
Yeah.
And sorry, Flex, can you bring that slide back up there on the team just so we can keep cross-referencing here?
Yeah.
So look, I mean, I don't want to flog too much of this whole thing, okay? So I think we've addressed Tony Dazorzi there. Whether he comes back for the tournament, I know he's injured, so there's no form to play on.
That's the problem.
This is a massive problem, okay? So who would you then put in, Josh? If let's just say Tony Dazorzi doesn't make it to the World Cup, who is now the guy you're going to put in?
It's the biggest no-brainer. It's Rickleton.
It has to be Rickleton.
Of course.
Okay.
Should have been there first.
Yeah, agreed. So it's I'm with you, Shaz, in like I feel like the selectors need to take a lot more accountability here. So Maroney came in, and his whole reason for leaving Rickleton out, I read in an interview, is because, and he's not wrong in saying that Rickleton hasn't performed at the highest level in terms of the Proteas. And if you look in like 18 games, he hasn't shot the lights out. Yeah. But then he's selecting guys. Dazorzi's played 2 T20 internationals. Yeah. So, there's Jason Smith's also played two T20 internationals. Yeah. So why are you selecting guys when you've had these 2-year period where 35 players have been tried? Why not give Smith and Dazorzi the best chance of success in playing them more in the build up to the World Cup? Why throw them straight in the deep end? Why were neither of them selected in the India series? Why weren't they in the fold? That was the last series basically before the World Cup. It makes no sense.
And I think, and it's something that we also need to talk about. And I've been wanting to discuss this with you, Josh, for a long time. Quinton de Kock retires. Comes back in and automatically gets a start. It is one of my biggest issues with the Proteas, where they don't know when to kind of cut off the line. I think you back a new wicket keeper. We've got enough batsmen that can play at a high level, and this is where the philosophy issue I have with the Quinton de Kock selection. If you're going to now move into the next generation of cricketers, you kind of have to get rid of the old rod. And for me, Quinton de Kock is the issue that the Proteas selectors generally have been having for World Cups in the past. You back Quinton de Kock, but he has retired. You can't tell me he's irreplaceable, because we've seen all the talent. I think if Quinton de Kock stays retired, Ryan Rickleton comes in and everybody else in a youth perspective jumps in. they kind of had this issue with Quinton de Kock, and I wanted to actually ask you where you feel about Quinton retiring and automatically getting in a spot as a Protea.
Yeah, so it's a controversial issue.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a case of Rickleton or de Kock. I think it should be a case of Rickleton and de Kock, because in my mind they are like some of the top batsmen that we have. I've got a different opinion to a lot of the public here. A lot of the public see Quinton de Kock retire and they feel like he's been given this like privileged special treatment walking back into the side. When you've got someone of that caliber, if they say, I want to play for South Africa, you've got to actually put your pride aside and say, like, thank you, like, come play for South Africa. I like the way he did it, where you could see at the end of his career, pre-retirement, you could just see he like there was something missing. There was an energy missing from Quinny. I don't know if it was like that passion, that drive, that energy.
They forced captaincy on him.
There's a whole bunch of background drama, but towards the end, you could just see there wasn't that hunger that you used to seeing from Quinny. And I think, I would rather a situation where a player says, like, listen, guys, I'm going to stand back. I'm going to go fish for a year. I need to get my mind right. And he didn't say it as like, pick me, or, like I can pick and choose. He said, I'll make life easier for you. I'm going to go fishing for 6 months, whatever it was. He's come back hungrier than we've seen him for a long, long time. His performances have been exceptional in both formats since he's come back, and he's rocking it in the SA20. Like, I just don't think that we should ever be in a situation where we're too proud to select someone like that who is completely generational. Arguably our best T20 player. I mean, is there anyone else that's scored 10,000 plus T20 runs that's played RPL for a decade? So it is controversial, but at the same time, I actually respect what he did in a way where he said, I'm retiring because give these other guys a chance. Then the criticism is, well, he's coming back and he's knocking someone out. That deserves to be there, that is passionate about Proteas and hasn't like let the Proteas go. But my counter argument to that is, if Quinny didn't retire, firstly, those players might not have been there in the first place, because he's actually, his retirement's given them an opportunity. And if they were much better than Quinny, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because they would be selected anyway.
Exactly, and there would be absolute pillars to the team. Shaz, I think, like, to your point, what I like there is that it's a thankless and difficult job being a selector.
100%.
Because we can sit here with 30 names and we can justify them being in there. But I think where you're going with this, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we want to know that the selectors have a clear goal. Yeah. So just having some consistency, because over the long run, you can't get it completely right all the time, but at least have consistency. So, Josh, I mean, like your point there, I think it's so prudent. Yes, Rickleton and Stubbs are two players that didn't play great. They haven't done well in the last year. That India tour did them no favors. Yeah. But we can't then judge them differently to someone who hasn't played like Tony or hasn't really had the experience. I mean, Smith did well in the local CSA T20 series for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But now that suddenly means more than Tristan Stubbs doing poorly at the highest level in India.
Yeah.
So again, it's a consistency factor. Like, this team is good. It's on its day. It's still up there to win the tournament. But there's a consistency and there's a spine here that's kind of missing. And I think, again, you would then ask the question, Shaz, going back to your thing about consistency and principles, should Quentin Mapaka be there if he's on the up and up, but yet you've got guys like Bartman, who I think right now is in great form. He's got a bit more to his career. And Mapaka will get many, many chances. I think Dale Steyn even mentioned it, is that this guy's got many, many chances to have.
He's got many years in front of him.
But is the priority of selection right now throw youngsters in the deep end to harden them?
To win.
Or is it to kind of have the best team that right now we feel is on form?
Yeah, and it's like Mapaka, he went to Australia for the T20 series there, became the youngest guy to ever get 4 wickets in a match, in a T20 international at 19 years old against Australia in Australia, and they had a mad good batting lineup. Yeah. Then he doesn't make the Pakistan tour. I'm like, what's going on here?
That was the back end of an injury, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't make the India tour. Okay, with this is the privilege of playing a T20 series in India before the T20 World Cup is like you kind of want to pick your squad for that. Yeah. He wasn't selected for that. His form hasn't been great
and then you put him in the mix again now.
Yeah, it's just I feel like the selectors, why not select him for that India tour?
Yeah, because now these guys have to, and when you don't perform at a World Cup, it's triple as bad as not performing in any other games. Because now people are going to scrutinize you, and then that kind of sticks on a character. Like this Jason Smith guy, I mean,
Yeah, and I think I think the one thing that we probably all agree on is that we just want a clear philosophy on what CSA or the
Correct.
selectors are going for. If we're going to go back the youth, let's wholeheartedly back the youth moving forward. Let's go Tristan Starr, Rickleton, Kwena Mapaka, and the veterans. We'll see you another time.
Yeah.
Or else, if you're going to mix and match, we're also going to be able to be in a position to say, we're going to Betway SA20. Look at the MVP list. Look at the young guys going through. We're able to criticize you at that level. And then the last thing I wanted to say on the selection, and it's going to be my biggest thing, is Aiden Markram, this is the time for you to show up. This is a huge tournament. Everything else is going to go around out the way. We've criticized the team, the selection. If you have a huge World Cup, everybody else around your team is protected. We want fielding intensity. We want people to catch the ball, throw it back, bowlers to have some fire in them. It starts with your leadership. And I think that's the one thing I really want to say, Adrian Markham. We don't want any gloomy stuff. We don't want him to hide behind the lights. We're going to be hypercritical. He's going to be the guy who's going to take a lot of this flack. So, Adam Markram, this is a big tournament for you.
Tough show to be honest. Look here at Adam Markram. Nice of shows, huh?
Don't you think it would have been better? I get that there's timelines for squad announcements, but wouldn't it have made more
This is the
sense
exact
to
point
wait?
I'm about to make.
Okay, sorry.
No, go,
Stole
carry
your
on.
line,
No,
mate.
no, carry on.
we would do.
Carry on.
Like it would make so much more sense to wait until after the SA20, or at least
announce it.
as long as possible, so you've got more data. You can see who's in form, who's not in form, because I
Not
think it's
two
really
games.
important.
Because I mean, the squad was selected on the 2nd of Jan, right?
Yeah.
Every team had played 2 games.
Yeah.
Okay,
rained out
so
games.
guys, I mean, I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong here in the comments, but ICC have stipulations where you must submit a team X amount of days before the tournament.
Yeah.
But now, does Cricket South Africa have the ability to go, guys, here's our squad, but then treat it, not in the press, but treat it as a provisional squad. And then at the end of the Betway SA20, we go, okay, guys, look, it's very obvious. This oak is on fire right now. This guy has not performed.
Yeah.
He was a 50-50 pick with this guy.
Yes.
But we are going to back these oaks now because I would love to know if they've got that wiggle room. It will be frowned upon because on the back of this, I would sooner take a guy like maybe Evan Jones compared to Smith. Again, if we want to go like for like of upcoming players who maybe need to prove themselves, who aren't stalwarts, and if the selectors really have gone, Tristan Stubbs, you haven't shown me enough, you're not in the squad no matter what, and then Rickleton picks himself, it's fascinating. But this again ties back to our plan. It's like now we care so much more about cricket.
Yeah.
I haven't had a heated squad debate about a Proteas team in quite some time.
I want to be honest, this is the first time in a long time that
Guys,
I've had this.
we've got more firepower here. It's just that we can't make this like a 7-hour show. But I'm fired up about this because I want our Oaks going to that World Cup and to be able to sling whatever they want to all the other Oaks.
And we really want to win. I mean, coming off the Test World Cup.
Guys, we lost that final, which was enough. We stole defeat from the clutch of victory.
Yeah, and I think
Still hurts.
It still hurts.
And that's what we're saying. We're like, after winning the Test World Cup final, we really like the spirit of winning, so we want to win at a high level.
And we have the players.
And we have the players, which is this Betway SA20 has shown.
So the World Cup is happening in India and Sri Lanka. From the 6th of February, there's going to be 20 teams, right? So there's 4 pools of 5. South Africa are in Pool D. So they've got SA, Afghanistan, Canada, New Zealand, and the UAE. 20 teams, guys. You know, Italy's playing in this tournament.
Yeah, the Canada one threw me off because that's our opening game, right?
Like, Nepal's in this thing.
We better win those
Netherlands,
games. That's all I've
Italy. It's Oman is playing, isn't it? It's Cosmopolitan, guys. So yeah, guys, the World Cup T20 is going to be here straight after the end of the. So what? Next Sunday, SA20 finishes. That'll be the 25th, and then 6th of Feb. These guys are really hard, huh? All right.
I heard there's a T20 series against West Indies before we leave. I don't know if that's true. Like,
I
when they're
saw
going to fit
something
that in.
I saw something like that. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Are we going to experiment with some more players?
Oh my goodness.
Make it 38 players.
But Josh, I mean, like, thanks for that. I mean, like, the fact that we've won one series out of the last 10, whatever
It's
it is.
terrible.
I almost feel sometimes that when we go into these tours, it's like we prioritize a couple of test matches, we play the ODIs, and then the T20s are kind of at the end. It's like, okay, well, Oaks are a bit knackered. Let's just try the people.
Yeah.
But your point was so spot on. When you get a 5 T20 series against India, you treat that as the World Cup.
Yeah.
There's your squad.
Yeah.
And then you might tinker towards the actual World Cup, but put that squad in there.
Yeah.
Those Oaks are going to be the ones now.
Yeah.
And if you feel strongly around a guy like Smith or feel strongly about Tony doing this, which
Back
you're
them.
entitled to,
Yeah.
put him in there.
To catch this full episode, click here. To get previous episodes of the On the Bounce show, click here. Otherwise, catch us wherever you catch a podcast every single week, or get full episodes on the Real Network's YouTube channel.